Hello, Year 5. Bonjour, willkommen, and welcome to your Friday maths lesson. Now, we are moving on to some division now. It's the inverse of multiplication, so there will be some little tricks and tactics that we can borrow from our multiplication topic, but we are looking at slightly different methods. First of all, let's do our starter, which relates back to our previous lesson. So, can you spot and correct the errors in this calculation? Sorry. So we've got 2,534 multiplied by 23. Can you spot where they have gone wrong? There are two mistakes that this person's made. I would recommend writing out the sum using the column method and seeing if you can spot where yours goes different to theirs, because yours will probably be right. Pause it there, and I will show you the errors that they have made in the next slide. Okay, so we can have a look and see. Over here, we've got 4 lots of 3 is 12, so we've had to carry one of the ones. So 3 lots of 3 is 9, but they have forgotten to add the extra one. So that top one should be 7,602. And with the bottom one, they've forgotten to put the placeholder there. They've done 4 times 2 instead of 4 times 20. We know that it's 20 because the 2's in the tens column. 4 times 20 is 80. The rest of it is fine, but it means that they got a very different answer to what the correct answer is. Hopefully you were able to find those mistakes. So we're going to look at dividing today. Dividing means to share into equal groups. And instead of dividing, we could say share, groups of, split, or partition. Equally is a really important word when dividing. It needs to be an equal sharing. So our first example is going to be 84 divided by 4. And there's lots of different ways that you might hear that. 84 divided by 4, 84 shared between 4 groups, 84 split into 4 groups, how many groups of 4 fit into 84, or how many 4s are there in 84. All of those are examples of where we have to divide. So I'm going to show you two methods today. The first method is our visual method. So you can see over on the left-hand side, I have got 84 in our base 10 counters. So I've got 8 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 1s. So I've partitioned 84. And in my grid, I've got 10s and 1s, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 4 rows because I'm sharing this number between 4. So these are my 4 groups. So I'm going to share the 10s first. And to make sure I do it equally, I'm going to do it 1 in each row at a time. So 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so I can see that my 8 10s split between 4 groups with 2 10s in each group. And it's nice and even. I don't have any left over. Then I've got 4 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each of my 4 groups is equal. I can see that in one group, I've got 2 10s and 1 1, which is 21. So 84 divided by 4 is 21. I might want to just quickly check to see that it's the same in each row. With this number, I can see that it is. So nice and even, which means that each group has got 21 in it. Now, some of you will be familiar with something called the bus stop method, which is a really, really effective way of doing it as well. And we're going to keep using this throughout. So I have to put them in this formation. So it's called the bus stop method because we imagine that this little sort of, the 2 lines are a bus stop. The bigger number goes underneath the bus stop, like it's waiting in away from the rain, and the smaller number comes outside because he's getting wet. So how many times does 4 go into 8? If I count up in 4s, 4, 8, it goes in twice, which means that I can put a 2 up there. How many times does 4 go into 4? 4, it goes in 1. So I can put a 1 there, which means my answer is 21. So I've got 2 methods that both show me the same answer. Have a go with this one yourself before you follow on. So 69 divided by 3. See over here, I've got 6 10s and 9 1s, and I've split my columns into 3 because I'm sharing between 3 groups. So have a go at that first, and then follow along to see if you have managed it. Okay, so let me share my 6 10s first of all. I'll do 1 at a time so that I make sure I don't get muddled. There we go. So 2 in each again. And then I've got 9 ones to share. I will do it in each row, one at a time. Just makes it clear that you are sharing it equally and I'm not overloading the top one. Now all I need to do is count up. So I've got 2 10s and 3 1s, 2 10s and 3 1s, 2 10s and 3 1s, which means that each column, each row, sorry, is the same, which means that 69 shared between 3 groups gives me 23. Again, I can use this method. How many times does 3 goes into 6? 3, 6, it goes in twice. How many times does 3 go into 9? 3, 6, 9, it goes in 3 times. So that gets me 23 as an answer. Now, not all of our sums are going to be quite so helpful for us. So this time I've got 96 divided by 4. So same as before. Sorry, I think I meant to do that on the next slide. No, I'm not. So I'm going to share my 10s out. 1, 1, 1. I've got 4 rows because I'm sharing it between 4 groups. Okay, you can see I've got 110 left, but I need to make sure that all of these rows are equal. So I'm not going to be able to put this 10 in the tens column to make it equal. So I'm going to have to exchange that 10 for 10 ones. Now I can try again and see if with my ones, I can make sure that they are equal. So I've got a few more ones this time. So let's see, hopefully this won't take me a million years. I might have to overlap them a little bit because I haven't quite made my grid big enough. But thankfully it will work. This is where the screens are quite useful because I just need to drag instead of drawing. So for this one, you can see in each row, I've got 2 10s and 4 1s, 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 which means that each row has got 24 and each row is equal. So 96 divided by 24 is, 96 divided by 4 gives us 24. Now, with the bust-up method for this one, how many times does 4 go into 9? And are there any left over? So if I count up in my 4s, 4, 8, 12. I can see 4 doesn't go into 9 exactly. So I need to take the nearest multiple to it that is smaller than it. So 4, 8. So it goes in twice, but then to get from 8 to 9, I've got 1 left over. So I've got 1 10 left over. And that 10 goes and joins the ones column, just like we did with the visual representation of it. And we do that in the same way that we add the extras on when we're exchanging. So my 2 goes up there and my 1 goes here. So I don't add them, that becomes a 10. So 4, how many times does 4 go into 16 is the next thing that I need to check. 4, 8, 12, 16. It goes in 4 times, which means that my answer is 24. Have a go with this one by yourselves first of all, and then I will show you how it is meant to look. Okay, so 84 divided by 6, my apologies. I've got to put my 8 10s first of all. I've got my 6 rows, so I've got 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I've got 2 10s left, and I can see straight away that they're not going to be able to be shared equally between 6 rows. So I'm going to exchange them for 10 ones. So I will add these in. My sincere apologies for how slow this particular one feels, but it's a good way of seeing the process if the mouse decides to work for me. You can scrub along a little bit if you are not having as much fun as I'm having at the moment. So you can see I'm splitting it between the 6 rows. Currently, we look pretty good. Hopefully, we will end up with something equal. Lovely. Let me see if I can move all 5 of these at once. There we go. So when I double check each row's got 1 10 and 4 1s in it. So that means 84 divided by 6 must be 14. So let's have a look at our bust-up method as well. How many times does 6 go into 8? We know 6 doesn't go into 8, so 6, 12. 12 is too far, so 6, and then if we were to count on 7, 8 is 2 more. So it goes in once, with 2 left over. So we put a 1 above the bus stop, and the 2 goes to join the 4 to make 24. How many times does 6 go into 24? 6, 12, 18, 24. It goes in 4 times. So that gives me not 16 as an answer, 14 as an answer. Same answer that we got when we used our physical methods. So there's 4 examples for you of 2 different, slightly different types. You will notice we're only doing 2-digit numbers divided by 1-digit numbers at the moment. Now it's your turn. Can you have a go at answering these questions, proving your answer using both methods? So here are your 6 arithmetic questions. So it'll be slightly different to word problems this time. So on the next slide, we've got 3 greater than or less than problems. Now, the reason for that is that you end up having to do 6 division sums to work out the answer on both sides, and then you have to apply your knowledge of that to fill that symbol in. So have a go at using those. Please make sure that you're showing you're working for both sides. And then we've got a couple of word problems as well. And finally, a bit of an open-ended challenge. Okay, so here are your answers for your arithmetic questions. Here are the symbols that you should have for the greater than, less than questions. I always get confused with them when it's all the same answer. I always feel like I must have had one wrong because normally they're quite different. Here's your answers and questions for the word problems. And here is your some of your answers for the extended challenge. If you've got any questions, guys, please do drop me an email. If I need to make a video like I have done for multiplication, then I absolutely will if that's easier to follow. So please let me know if you're a bit confused. Let me know which method you prefer, but try to use both methods because especially when we get to larger numbers, that will become significantly easier.